Good evening in English language. I'm called Morindi, and we begin with our top stories. Marking the feast of Tabaski, affluence at the Douala sheep market is still not felt. Gladys Ambodibang will tell us, or she visited one of the sheep markets in Cameroon's economic city, Douala, will equally have the ambience in the nation's political capital, Yaoundé. Of inhabitants got trapped. Stories details right ahead. Douala, a sheep market, is still not. Since traders have.
Ahmed Owona and wife have been moving from one flock to the other, bargaining at 70,000 CFA francs. It is not easy. We finally bought one for 70,000 CFA francs. They are a bit expensive this year. To this buyer, the prices are affordable as compared to last year. The transport fare of the traders, prices of fuel have increased. At the Douala sheep market, the prices range between 70,000 and 250,000 francs CFA. And just one day to the feast of Tabaski, the affluence is still absent.
C'est pas comme d'habitude.
It is sheep cost. Buyers have been coming. We have had one. We are sure to sell all of it. The traders have expressed fears they might incur losses if they fail to sell all their goods. However, traders are still hopeful they will receive last-minute buyers.
Besides ram selling and buying is a business of washing the dirty sheep or ram for traders and their clients. Devoted young men are making huge money from the process. We take you to one of the sheep markets in the nation's political capital, Yaoundé, where the washing exercise is outstanding, as we get the following reports with our reporter, Hysen Cha.
It is a lucrative business during this period of the Feast of the Ram. The young boys along the banks of this river, ready and waiting for dirty sheep to give them a new first lift. An activity fetching them some cash with the price per ram determined by the size. When they are dirty, it discourages clients because many prefer something clean. We wash from 200 to 1,000 francs, depending on the size. The number of sheep equally determine the washing fare. We also negotiate in group, and when there are many, the washing fare drops. Like this flock of about 60 behind me, we shall collect 10 to 12,000 francs. The exercise promoted by this large temporary sheep market here at the called the Police Crossroad Junction, an offer they get both from sellers and buyers. They scrub the animal with a brush, soap and detergents. And even the most stubborn one cannot escape the process. This to give the sheep an attractive look before their eventual slaughter tomorrow, June 28, as sacrifices of the Tabaski feast.
And it's been a rainy day in Douala with several neighborhoods flooded. A majority of inhabitants had difficulties living for their businesses and job sites. They have again blamed the floods on blocked gutters and poor urban planning. More in the following story.
Walking in the floods is the only option they have. Even their dresses are adapted to the weather conditions. The Jaws have to brave the floods to get to their businesses and job places on time. The rains has imposed a rhythm. The heavy rains in the early hours of June 27 left every neighborhood flooded. From Bonapriso, Bali, Aqua, Rompoint Village, the floods affected several neighborhoods, leaving residents trapped at home. This man tells me he's not surprised by the heavy flooding of neighborhoods. We are used to the floods. However, with the wide drainage, water runs very fast, unlike before. When the rain stops, the whole area is flooded. As we moved along, we discovered vehicles and motorbikes trapped in the water. Drivers who received early warning signals had to negotiate safer routes from floods. Motorbike drivers almost got trapped. We tried to stop them from driving in the areas where floods were more severe in vain. They ended up in the waters, same with the vehicles. In other neighborhoods, inhabitants blame the floods on the non-respect of urban planning. The gutters there are large enough, but the problem is constructions on gutters, reason why water passage is blocked. At the Pont Noir, moving towards Marché d'Ogbasi in the Douala 3 Council area, the whole area is covered by water. The unpredictable weather condition, even though in the heart of the rainy season, has left inhabitants confused on how the days ahead would look like. Those in risk and flood-prone areas are already having sleepless nights.
25 police officers from the Central African sub-region are sharpening skills on how to detect document frauds at airports, seaports, and border crossing. Stakeholders in the training includes Interpol, the Civil Aviation Authority, and Airport Administration. Kejan Henry completes the story.
Douala city dwellers remain disturbed of what awaits them during the rainy season. Forecasting weather is not a culture, with some Cameroonians, but many, especially those in risk and marshy land, would love to be informed of weather variations in order to take precautionary measures to save lives and property. Talking about weather forecast and the role of the Meteorology Center. Weather forecast is important for any nation striving for development. Unfortunately, it's still not the case with Cameroon, as Cameroonians are yet to embrace the culture.
25 police officers from the Central African sub-region are sharpening skills on how to detect documents frauds at airports, seaports, and border crossing. Stakeholders in the training include Interpol, the Civil Administration Authority, and Airport Administration. Kejan Henry Atembe completes that story.
Criminals and terrorists often make fraudulent use of both fake and genuine identities and travel documents in order to carry out their illegal activities. The rise in pseudo-documents and forgeries within the Central African region is behind this technical training of forces of law and order from member countries of the CEMAC region, holding in Douala, Cameroon, to run from June 27 to 29. The 25 police officers will grapple with the techniques on how to conduct first-line cross-check of documents at the airport, the seaport, and border controls. They will be presented with specialized tools to detect fraudulent documents with the use of forensic laboratory and improve the security of documents as well as facial recognition. Opening this session, the representative of the Delegate General for National Security, Amane Sogo, said the absence of a screening system is behind the rising criminal activities across the airports and other borders. Stakeholders in the document fraud identification chain include the Civil Aviation Authority, the International Police Organization, Interpol, and the Airport Administration.
Aspiring to return to their families, communities, have a social life, have been given a special treat in the nation's political capital, Yaoundé. They were taken from the village of Love Ward, situated at the Yaoundé Jamout center town. The memory souvenir, according to Dr. Law Mengene, come and get their loved ones. Beatrice Ngamo has the rest of that story.
Qualified as fools on a trip from their village of Love, situated at the Jamout Hospital in Yaoundé, to center town, on board a VIP bus. Their destination is the esplanade just opposite. Gratitude to the Almighty for the journey this far. People who before were roaming the streets as fools, today have regained their mental form.
Ne m'abandonnez pas parce que j'ai trouvé l'amour dehors. Moi, j'ai dit à ma famille que je suis anormalement guérie. Je suis déjà stable pour rentrer à la maison.
Fit now to express selves and integrate into society.
Physically is good, psycho. But now in Yaoundé, we are able to manage those cases. Our brother and sister who are in the street.
Ambience time, as steps and moves comes into play here. Like all feast, time for family meal, enjoying in all appetite, before they take the road back to the village of love with hope of joining their loved ones later.
We hope that the family will see them and come and take them out of the village of love. And the family also have to know that we will not abandon them. We will continue to follow them at home.
Over 120 fools have been taken off the streets in Yaoundé to the village of love, where care, treatment and proper follow-up is being administered their way. This with support from the Yaoundé City Mayor and presence of
And Pastor Philip Ntib of PCC Bassa Congregation has celebrated his last sermon as a shepherd of the Bassa flock. After 8 years, he has been transferred to continue God's work in the same capacity. A reporter, Kejan Heriateme, was part of that ceremony. His story.
After 8 straight years as the shepherd of the PCC Bassa Congregation, Reverend Pastor Ntib Philip has been called to shepherd the flock in the same capacity in Kake. Cumulatively, he is going to the Synod office as the National Officer for Laity and Evangelism.
Happiness and sorrow for people that have lived for their 8 years is more of a family, but for the sake of serving, we are going for another missionary journey.
The church hall was cramped to suffocation as Pastor Ntib said goodbye to his flock.
He has shaped us in another dimension to go and save him in that capacity. And so we are just instruments to fulfill his glory.
From the pulpit, it was a message of continuous hard work recommended by some Christians from other congregations who came to witness his successful exit from Bassa.
Pastors come and go because they are not stabilized in one place. It's the Christians who actually own the congregations where they are because they don't go on transfer unless they lose their lives.
The person who is living, I think that is well-grounded, has a big experience. He's been here for 8 years, but before he came, he was somewhere. And he's going there to continue God's work.
I've known Reverend Deep and I've worked with him for very, very many years. I've known him from when he was in YP. And he has grown to become a pastor, and all I can do is support him no matter where he is in the country, whenever it's possible to assist him.
The souvenirs are great, as it is not easy to say goodbye as they were just too close as a family.
And that report brings us to the end of this edition of the Primetime Newscast in the English